Maya had always believed she was meant for a quiet life. At 24 years old, she preferred dusty books over crowded parties and rainy mornings over loud city nights. While her old classmates chased exciting careers in busy places, Maya accepted a simple job as a librarian in a small village near the sea. The village was peaceful, almost forgotten by the rest of the world. Narrow roads curved between tiny cottages, fishing boats floated quietly in the harbor. And every evening the ocean wind carried the smell of salt through the streets. For Maya, it felt perfect. She rented a small apartment above the library and quickly settled into a calm routine. Every morning she opened the old wooden doors, cleaned the shelves, and greeted the children who came. Searching for adventure stories and fairy tales, she thought she already knew exactly how her future would look. But some stories begin quietly before they change your entire life. One rainy afternoon, just before closing time, the library door suddenly opened with a loud creak. A tall man stepped inside. Rainwater dripped from the edges of his long gray coat. His dark boots echoed heavily across the wooden floor as he walked toward Maya's desk. Something about him felt strange, not dangerous, just familiar. The man's eyes looked tired, as though he had carried sadness for many years. Without saying hello, he placed a small wooden box on the counter between them. The box was beautiful. Dark polished wood covered with delicate silver carvings shaped like flowers and vines. The man leaned closer and spoke softly. "Please protect this for me." Before Maya could respond, he turned and disappeared back into the storm. She stood frozen behind the desk. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. For the rest of the afternoon, Maya could not stop staring at the box. Part of her wanted to ignore it completely. Another part desperately wanted to know what was hidden inside. Curiosity won. After closing the library, Maya carried the box upstairs to her apartment. She locked the door behind her and placed the strange object carefully on her kitchen table. Her hands trembled slightly as she lifted the lid. Inside was a silver key and several old photographs. At first, the pictures seemed ordinary. They all showed the same large white house standing alone on top of a cliff beside the sea. Then Maya noticed something terrifying. In every photograph, a young woman stood at the upstairs window. The woman looked exactly like her. The same dark eyes, the same long hair, even the silver necklace around the woman's neck matched the necklace Maya wore every day, the one her grandmother had given her before she passed away. Maya's heart began pounding. She flipped through the photographs again and again, hoping she was imagining it, but she was and single quotes T. The woman in the photographs was her or someone who could have been her twin. That night, sleep never came. Every creak of the old apartment made her jump. Every gust of wind outside sounded like footsteps. By sunrise, Maya had made her decision. She needed answers. The next morning, rain still covered the village as Maya drove along the narrow cliff road toward the White House. The villagers called it the Silent House. No one had lived there for decades. Children avoided it. Adults rarely mentioned it. As Maya approached, the house rose from the fog like a forgotten memory. Tall windows faced the ocean, and gray stone walls stood against the crashing waves below. The place looked lonely. Almost as lonely as the man who had visited the library. Maya climbed the front steps slowly. Her fingers tightened around the silver key. For a moment, fear told her to turn back, but something stronger pulled her forward. She inserted the key into the lock. It fit perfectly. The door opened with a long, heavy creak. Cold air rushed out from inside. The house smelled of dust, sea salt, and old paper. White sheets covered the furniture like silent ghosts. The wooden floors groaned beneath her footsteps as she explored the dark hallway. Strangely, Maya already knew where she was going. She climbed the staircase and walked toward the final room at the end of the corridor. The bedroom door stood slightly open. Inside was the exact room from the photographs. A small table rested beside the window overlooking the ocean. Dried flowers sat inside a cracked vase. Untouched by time, Maya stepped toward an old mirror hanging beside the bed. At first, she saw only her reflection. Then, for one horrifying second, The reflection changed. Another girl stood there, a girl with Maya's face, but her expression was different, sadder, older, filled with secrets. Maya gasped and stumbled backward. The reflection disappeared instantly, shaking with fear. She searched the room until she discovered a hidden letter inside the table. Drawer. The handwriting felt familiar, immediately dotted. Matched the writing in her grandmother's old journals. Maya unfolded the letter carefully and began to read. Every word changed her life. Years ago, her family had lived in the silent house, but terrible events forced her mother to flee the village while Maya was still a baby. The man in the gray coat was Maya's uncle. For 24 years, he had protected the house and waited for the day Maya would finally return. The photographs were not random. They were taken before Maya was born. The woman at the window was Maya's mother, and the necklace Maya wore had belonged to generations of women in their family. The letter ended with one final sentence. The house remembers who belongs to it. Maya sat silently beside the window for a long time, listening to the sound of the crashing sea below. As the rain slowly stopped, sunlight broke through the clouds and painted the sky orange and gold. For the first time in her life, Maya understood why she had always felt different. She had not come to the village by accident. She had come home. As evening arrived, Maya locked the house and walked back toward her car. Near the edge of the road stood the man in the gray coat, her uncle. He said nothing. He simply nodded once, as though he had been waiting years for this exact moment. Maya nodded back. No words were needed anymore. My name is Maya. I came to this village believing I would live a simple life surrounded by books and silence. But now I know the truth. I am the last keeper of the silent house. And my real story has only just begun.